I'm not sure you could call our next activity an art form, but Irish wrestlers certainly aim to entertain. Irish Whip Wrestling opened a gym here in Baldoyle this year and employed a professional trainer from Britain. Already, their membership has quadrupled. They hope someday that they will be touring the world, putting on shows organised by an Irish promoter. But for now, it's a touch less glamorous. The conditions are hard and the training is tough.
It was scenes like these which inspired Dubliner Simon Rochford to set up Ireland's first pro wrestling company, Irish Whip Wrestling. But whip wrestling has an odd ring to it.
The name Irish Whip is actually a wrestling move by an old Cork wrestler called Dan O'Mahony. He was called the Irish Whip, was his nickname. And that's in the wrestling when you get your opponent and you place him against the ropes and you run him, or in wrestling called a whip him, over to the far rope. That's called an Irish Whip. That's a lot of problems we have when we're talking to venues or sponsors or media. They say Irish Whip, they think it's, dirty. So you have to explain what the word means. So sometimes it's hard talking to people with Irish Whip wrestling.
Let's start the show.
Our fans again, within Dublin we have a family based right up to people in their 40s even. It's all young kids and families. What Irish Whip Wrestling does at the moment, it has a full-time training school where we train young lads and girls to become professional wrestlers. We train them in the technique of wrestling, the skill of wrestling, also how to do interviews, also how to perform in front of a live crowd, and people that don't feel physically fit or able to do wrestling, we teach them to be referees, announcers, commentators, MCs, every aspect of pro wrestling, even promoting.
Weighing in at £193 is Seamus O'Shaughnessy, the Irish heavyweight champion. Seamus is the club's trainer at their gym in Baldoyle. To avoid injury, trainees need to be confident in all their moves and they need to learn how to fall properly.
Basically, right here, I'm the head trainer of IWW, and my job basically is to get new and existing wrestlers or trainees, guys, up to scratch, learn how to fall properly, learn how to run the ropes properly, learn how to wrestle properly, also get them in the gym, start lifting weights, and basically get them eating the right food. So there's a lot in it. Like, it's not just getting people in to train, it's basically just changing their whole life, pretty much, because that's what I believe wrestling is. It's not just kind of a hobby, it's something that will take up, if you're serious about it, it's something that'll take up all your time and it'll take a lot of commitment to keep you going.
And weighing in at £177 is one of the club's rising stars, Madman Manson. Manson has recently given up his day job and now claims to be the only person employed full-time in professional wrestling in Ireland. But then he is mad.
Well, I was lucky when I started because I had a fairly athletic background, nowhere near the athletic as like Seamus or some of the other lads, but I always played football. I've been playing football my whole life. I only just recently gave it up, properly playing football in proper leagues, because wrestling has been taken over full time. At the moment, for me, one of the most important things for me is to put on more muscle. The Seamus takes us through our diets, and we have to be eating tens of chicken fillets every single week. We've got to be having protein shakes. You've got to have them before you go to bed, when you get up in the morning. If you're having your cereal in the morning, instead of 3 Weetabix, you've got to eat 6 Weetabix. All these small things that you'd never really think of. Like, I didn't think a wrestler's life would have all these things in it, but it's, you're half bodybuilder, half wrestler, half athlete, all these different things. You're going, that's 3 halves. That's close enough to me.
Pro wrestling, of course, is theatre, and each wrestler has developed his own character, costume and performance.
When I first joined up in Irish Whip, I had a pretty unique look because I had 2 giant pink mohawks at the time. So as soon as I came in, they were like, this guy's a little bit crazy, a little bit mad. And I think it was Simon who actually came up with the character of a lunatic. I thought of being a lunatic because it's so easy to play. All you got to do is roll around the ring and make a lot of funny faces. That I can do. So he came up with the idea for Madman Manson, and I just expanded on it. And every single match, I try and work in something new for the character. I really love the acting side of it. I think if I wasn't a wrestler, I probably would be doing something to do with acting. It's the morning of Gym War 9 and we're getting ready for our matches. We're all getting changed up. We've set everything up. The ring is ready to go. The chairs are all ready to go. So all we need now is a big crowd. Unfortunately, we don't have a dressing room or showers or anything like that here in the gym. So we have to get changed out here in the cold yard, which is all it can be described as, really. But either way, it makes no difference. It's worth it. We may be frozen out here, but as soon as we get in the ring, it's worth every single minute of it, like one way or the other. The best part of my costume, without a shadow of a doubt, is this, my straitjacket. Sometimes I tend to lose the rag a bit inside the ring, so this keeps me safe. You'll note it's never been washed, and I've had it for about a year and a half now, so I think it adds a nice edge to the straitjacket, really, you know.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next match is a 6-man encounter. Yes.
My entrance is pretty unique. It's actually one of the best bits of my character, because when I come out, I'm strapped into my straitjacket and I'm ready to go. And I come out and I start rolling on the crowd. I roll on the floor. I roll around. Usually my opponent in the ring is looking at me a bit strange, and it's hard for them to keep a straight face sometimes. I'm rolling around. I make sure I go around to every side of the ring, roll on some kids. If there's any guys in the audience I know as well, I give them a few shoulder charges. It's always good. Then I slam my head onto the canvas, roll in, and then as I'm in the ring, I dance about to get rid of my straitjacket off.
Crazy. Madness, absolute madness. You watch any of his matches, he's a lunatic. But that's why he's so good. He's a brawler. He's a brawler and he's a lunatic. Kind of expand on that. Put it this way, anytime you watch Madman Manson, you're going to be entertained, because he's going to do something that you're just not going to expect.
We've actually had a few times when I make my entrance, a few kids do run up to Simon and get their money back and leave, and they don't want any part of this. They say, "Oh, this is too scary for me, I'm heading home." Some kids love it. They really, the reactions I get is I get one of the best reactions currently in Irish Whip, and it's not because I'm the best athlete or because I'm the biggest guy. It's because I'm one of the most memorable characters. That's just something I'm lucky to have at the moment, and the crowds go crazy for me. Like, as soon as I walk out, they're cheering for me, and they haven't even seen what I can do. So it's an amazing feeling to have them cheer for me just because I'm walking to the ring. Great when they're cheering for you, you know, like they're cheering for you. They believe in you, you know. They believe that when you get slammed to the ground, that's it, you're over. And it hurts like hell, but the thing that gets you back up after you get slammed is them cheering. What about if they weren't cheering? Then what's the point? You know, what are we doing here? We're just putting on a show, showing each other off. That's the point of that. If they actually care about us, that's just unbelievable. It's the best feeling in the world.